Nyojong and welcome to another story session. In today's story, it is a short but very special in the sense that you're going to have to pay close attention to this story. Yeah, just pay close attention. This story is titled The Grandma at the Farmhouse. Enjoy. The earliest memory I have of going hunting was back in Laos. At the age of 6 years old, my father brought me along with him to one of his hunting trips. I remembered it was just my father and I. He taught me how to use a hunting rifle and how to shoot squirrels and birds. Ever since then, I've fallen in love with hunting. In my teenage years, I would often go hunting out in the forest by myself. I would head out into the forest very early in the morning and hunt squirrels and birds for the whole day. Then, when it's evening, I would start heading home. Even when I'm out hunting alone by myself in the forest, I never really get scared of ghosts or things of such nature. It was because I have never seen a ghost or have any paranormal experiences while I was hunting. However, there was one hunting trip I had that terrified and creeped the living soul out of me. And no, I didn't see any ghosts. I was 18 years old then. During this particular trip, I had been hunting squirrels and birds for the whole day, but I didn't have much luck. I had only got four squirrels and two small birds. Feeling a bit frustrated, I called it quits and decided to head home. However, I didn't realize that the sky was getting dark. It was probably around 7 or 8 p.m. I knew my walk home was gonna take me at least 2 hours or more, so I decided it was probably best for me to rest for the night and go home early in the morning. Besides, I was very tired. Back then, it was very common for hunters to go sleep in farmhouses, usually strangers' farmhouses if there are any nearby the forest. Now, if the farmhouse was occupied, then you would obviously have to ask the occupant, and most of the time, they would let you sleep for the night. Anyways, as I was walking back that night, I stumbled upon a small farmhouse. I saw that the door of the farmhouse was closed fully, so it meant people were inside. Relieved, I walked up to it and knocked on the door. There was silence. So I raised my voice and asked, "Are there anyone here? I am passing by, but it's getting dark and I would like to borrow your place to sleep for the night." Still silence. No response back, so I knocked on the door again. This time I heard someone inside opening the door. When the door was fully opened, standing in front of me was a very old grandma. So I said, "Oh, sorry, Grandma. It was because I went hunting, but now it's getting dark and I would like to borrow your place to sleep for the night. Will you mind?" The grandma stood staring at me, and I noticed she was looking at the dead squirrels and birds I was holding with my hand. Then she said, "Son, if you want to sleep here for the night, you can. Come inside." I followed her inside the house. While I was locking the door, the grandma went to start a fire in the fire pit. When I walked over to sit by the fire pit, she said, "Give me your squirrels and birds. I will go put them away." So I handed the squirrels and birds over to her. I thought she was going to set them on the little table next to the fire pit, but I watched as she took them and headed over to her bed. When she got to her bed, she said back to me, "Son, I am very sleepy, so I'm going to sleep first. When you get tired, you can sleep over there, okay?" I replied back, "Okay, Grandma. When I get tired, I will sleep over here. Since you're feeling sleepy, go ahead and sleep first." However, I started feeling uneasy and thought how weird it was that the grandma took the squirrels and birds with her to her bed. So I didn't want to fall asleep because I was getting the chills. Then a moment later, I heard a strange sound coming from the direction of the grandma's bed. It sounded like someone was chewing something. So I got up and slowly snuck over to the grandma's bed. When I reached the bed, the grandma turned to face me. To my horror, I saw blood all over her mouth and saw there were bird feathers stuck in her mouth. I was terrified, so I turned back and ran to the door. The door was locked, so I had to unlock it first. As I was trying to unlock the door, I turned my head and looked back at the grandma. The grandma was looking at me and said, "Son, where are you running to?" Then she got up from her bed and slowly walked over to me. She came closer and closer and was about 5 feet away from me. But I got the door open and quickly ran outside. It was dark, but I didn't care. I was scared of the grandma and wanted to get away from her. As I was running away, I heard her chasing after me. She was yelling, "Son, son, come back and sleep with me." I was young and she was old, so I was able to run away from her. That night, I ran all the way home and told my parents about the incident. They saw that I was truly scared. So, like typical Hmong parents, they scolded me, but there was nothing they could do about it. Now I am in my 70s and this story still terrified me. My name is Lee, and this incident made me realize that it's often people that we have to be aware of the most, not ghosts. This story doesn't end here, but what happened after this particular incident scarred me for life, and I'd rather not talk about it. Alrighty, guys, and that concludes this story. Comment down in the comment section below why I said that this story was special. If you paid close attention, like I asked you to, I believe you can figure out why this story was special. You might have to listen to this story again and again and again and again a couple of times. If you still haven't figured out why, then eventually I will let you guys know. But I believe you guys are smart enough to figure out why this story was special. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoy this one. Take care.